When our pets cross over to the other side, do they just disappear into the universal void? The notion of reincarnation has long been associated with human beliefs and philosophies, but when it comes to animals, the discussion becomes a bit more nuanced. While many people may find it easier to conceptualize reincarnation in humans, the possibility that animals could experience the same phenomenon invites a somewhat deeper contemplation. The idea that animals might reincarnate raises profound questions about life, death, and the continuity of consciousness. Hello, all. This is Dr. Bruce, welcoming you to the Spiritual Hitchhiker's Practical Guide to the Afterlife and Beyond. Now, this is our first show of the year, so happy belated New Year to you all. The title of today's show is Animal Reincarnation, or Reboot for Rover. So allow me to begin this discussion of animal reincarnation with an apology to our cat lover friends. Now, I grew up in a home with 13 cats and one beleaguered dog, so I do love and appreciate our feline friends just as well as I do our canine ones. It's just that I just couldn't resist the alliteration when deciding on a name for this episode. But be that as it may, many believe that our beloved pets aren't just random souls who happen to cross our path, but that they're actually part of our soul families, returning lifetime after lifetime as our teachers, healers, guides, and, last but not least, faithful companions. They stay deeply connected to us, sending signs, watching over us, even helping guide our next animal companions to us. And when they cross over, while they focus on supporting us from the spirit world, as some believe, they're also preparing for their eventual return in a future lifetime, when we'll need their unique brand of wisdom and unconditional love. Quite simply, this means the animal in your life now has very likely been in your life before. As an animal now, not as a human. Let me make that clear. Although we don't fully understand how reincarnation works in a physical or mechanistic way, although I did attempt to tackle this question several months back and offered my own universal theory of reincarnation based on quantum physics in one of the shows, which you can find, by the way, on my YouTube channel, the re-entrance of the soul into physical form seems to be a consistent part of the framework of reality. So, why would animals be precluded from this process? There are a multitude of convincing anecdotal accounts in the historical records of dearly departed animals who have returned in a new body. Now, even Hollywood has got it into the act with the movie A Dog's Purpose, and I think there was a sequel to that too. So, the simple answer to this question, at least in my opinion, and that of many, many others, is yes. Our animals can and will often reincarnate. Our souls never die, and they can be reborn many times in a new body. Our animals are no different in this. With their shorter lifespan, they often come back multiple times. Inherent in any discussion as esoteric as animal reincarnation is the question which must precede that discussion. Do animals have souls? It's a basic question. Either you accept that we humans live on after physical death, or you don't. If you don't accept this idea, then you're probably not even watching this. But if you do think physical death isn't the end, then what about animals having souls? If you accept that people have souls, then what grounds are there to suppose that animals are any different from people? We all breathe air or water. We all need to eat. We all reproduce. We all move about. Desire and will can be observed in most, if not all, animals. For example, a dog who wants to go out and come in, and go out, and come in, and go out. Or a cat wanting to sit on someone's lap, usually because there's no suitable scratching post handy. Emotions can similarly be observed in animals. For example, purring, which can indicate pleasure. barking at visitors, which might indicate protectiveness, and of course, licking an owner without an ulterior motive, such as wanting food or treats or love. Intelligence is often noted in animals, such as making associations between events and or concepts. Examples would be a ball is associated with playtime, a leash associated with taking a walk, time of the day associated with meals, and so on and so forth. Dogs, cats, birds, pigs have all been used in intelligence tests. All have been found capable of making multiple sequence choices, not just some simple touch the button for a treat exercise. Furthermore, brain scans have shown that some animals, especially monkeys, show brain activity remarkably similar to that of humans. Some apes are able to make multiple associations and what are called logical sequence choices. So given all of this, it seems far more reasonable to assume that animals do have souls than to assume that they don't. Now, we could go into more detail about animal will, emotion, intelligence, and so on, but there is plenty of scientific evidence, much of it by well-known biologists and zoologists. So if you do accept that animals have souls, then you're in pretty good company. One of the most beloved and venerated leaders in the history of the Roman Catholic Church, Pope John Paul II, who's now Saint Pope John Paul II, proclaimed that the animals possess a soul, and men must love and feel solidarity with our smaller brethren. He went on to say that all animals are fruit of the creative action of the Holy Spirit and merit respect, and that they are as near to God as men are, probably nearer. His words, not my words, not his. During his weekly address in the Vatican St. Peter's Square, the current head of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis I, asserted that canines, along with all of God's creatures, can make it to heaven. His Holiness made the remark in order to comfort a young boy who was mourning the death of his dog. And this was posted in the New York Times. One day, the Pope said, we will see our animals again in the eternity of Christ. Paradise is open to all of God's creatures. One of the most moving and poignant pieces I've ever read about the question of whether animals have souls was penned by an author by the name of Stacy Mantle. Last name Mantle. I'm not sure if she's related to Mickey. But in a piece she wrote, and the piece was entitled, Do Animals Have Souls? She wrote, and I quote, I was talking with a coworker the other day, and he informed me that animals don't have emotions. This is just after he told me, the day that I put my dog of 17 years down, that animals don't have souls, and therefore will never enjoy the concept of heaven. Now, this coworker has the advantage of being what I refer to as a Bible thumper. He is, in fact, a born-again Christian. Now, please bear in mind that I have nothing against Christians. Nor do I have anything against religion in general. I do, however, have a problem with his coworker passing along faulty information. Animals do have emotions, and they also have souls. And I'll tell you how I know that. In over 20 years of working with animals, I've never seen a kitten duct tape a live human baby to a freeway. I've also never seen a cat find enjoyment from setting a human on fire. I've never gone hiking in the desert to find a child that dogs have left tied to a stake without food and water, subjecting it to a painful death in the desert heat. I've never seen a chicken force two unwilling humans to fight in a ring with razor blades attached to their feet, while the chickens place bets on who will be the first to die. I haven't seen a puppy place 8 children in a gunny sack and drown them in a river. Neither have I seen an eagle aim a shotgun at an unarmed human. And I've yet to see a bear kill a human simply to place a head on the wall of their cave. And to this day, I've not yet seen a pigeon drive a car down the road and aim for humans who are walking around the park. Let me tell you what I have seen, though, she wrote. I have seen my own cat sleep next to me so they can keep me a little warmer while I was ill. I've seen my dogs play games with me just to force a smile to my face. I've seen a cat rush into a burning home, not once, not twice, but 6 times to save her kittens, nearly losing her own life in the process. I've seen a ferret pull a frightened kitten out of a deep hole in the ground. I've seen a coyote fetch another dog so that it may get the proper medical care that it needs. I've seen a dog who loves to jump on people avoid jumping on me when I injured my back. I've seen elephants cry. I've seen monkeys scream in empathy when one of their own was injured. I've seen puppies whine all night long when they were separated from their mothers. I've seen a dog pull a child away from a fire. These are only a few of the things that I've seen. To list them all would take a lifetime, but I think you get my point. As for the soul thing, well, it's my humble opinion that if you have emotions, any kind of emotions, then you have a soul. Ironically, the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church recently stated that he feels the same way. Now, I can't prove that animals have souls for them. I can't prove that you and I have one either. And for all those people who firmly believe that animals don't have souls, well, I suppose if there really is a heaven, you'll probably have the job of cleaning out all the litter boxes. Thank you, Stacy. Unquote. All animals are conscious beings. Some species contain a more developed consciousness than others. As we saw above, man is often thought of the elemental plant, mineral, and animal kingdoms as lower than himself. Yet all are part of creation, and all contain consciousness. Well, with apologies to cat people, let's use the dog, man's faithful companion, as an example. Of all the animals on this planet, dogs are the closest to human beings in their emotional responses and expression. Brain studies reveal that although apes, whales, and dolphins have a cerebral cortex, that's the part of the brain where reason, judgment, and other higher level thinking processes occur, similar to humans, dogs have a midbrain, the sections where the sexual emotions occur, very similar both structurally and functionally to that of humans. Studies show, and dog lovers know, that canines have the intellectual level of a child between 1 and 4. They experience and exhibit attachment and bonding, or lack thereof. They exhibit joy, contentment, security, fear, anxiety, jealousy, loneliness, depression, abandonment, which we know as separation anxiety, and something called learned helplessness. The psychological research on learned helplessness, originally conducted on dogs, was finally discontinued because it was so traumatic for the animals and the researchers. Most dogs, especially ones that bond with a human, radiate unconditional love, devotion, and loyalty. Dogs will sacrifice their lives for their beloved masters and often die from grief if the humans die first. Dr. David R. Hawkins, an MD and PhD, who's an expert on consciousness and spirituality, and is the author of many books, started out researching and measuring human consciousness and spirituality, and then expanded into animals and even plants. Amazingly, his research shows that many pets have higher levels of consciousness and spirituality than some humans. Many who embrace the philosophy of reincarnation believe that the soul of a dog evolves with each lifetime of experience. As a dog evolves in each lifetime, it usually forms a close bond with a human being, often more than one. So when a relationship between a dog and a human is close, a bond is formed. Now, that's similar to what one would experience with another human. Just as humans can have other humans as soulmates, so can we have a dog, cat, or horse as a soulmate. Usually this occurs only in a close relationship with an animal of evolved consciousness. I personally would place dogs, cats, horses, and cetaceans, meaning whales, dolphins, and porpoises in this category. In fact, many researchers and investigators in the field of reincarnation assert that just like humans, animals are part of our soul groups and reincarnate in our soul family groups. This means that animals in our life now have very likely been in our life before as an animal. And just as our soul groups can comprise many human souls, so can they contain many animal souls, some or many of which may incarnate with us multiple times in one of our lifetimes, owing to the shorter lifespan compared to humans, as well as over multiple lifetimes. Furthermore, just as humans decide prior to incarnation to play a part in each other's lives in the coming incarnation, so can animals with a human. Now, the dog might not look the same as in its previous life. Fur might be different, color, for example, might even be a different breed of dog. It does seem that animals tend to stay within the same species when they reincarnate. Dogs remain dogs, cats remain cats, gurgles remain gurgles. Yet they meet, and the bond between love and human is strengthened. Both are aware of a strong feeling of knowing the other. This is on the soul level, which is consciously felt as a knowing. Both have chosen this. The theory is that just as a human does, so does a dog reincarnate through choice. Yet the dog remembers on all the planes, just as humans remember when we cross over. Just as we humans carry a soul imprint, including certain character traits, so does the dog. The cat is also capable of this. When they cross, they all reside on the same plane as us. Now, as we mentioned, often an animal will reincarnate more than once in a human owner's lifetime, and the owner may recognize previous behavior patterns of the animal, which is passed on. Although skeptics would consider this projection or even wishful thinking on the part of the owner. At this level, the life path is also known before incarnating. Life situations and circumstances will place the dog and human together at the correct time in both lives. The soul growth and purpose will flow as it's meant to flow. Miss Brent Atwater, considered by many to be the world's leading authority on animal life after death and pet reincarnation, an author of Animal Reincarnation, Everything You Always Wanted to Know, has this to say about the subject. After the death of a pet, and during your pet loss grief, hold faith in your heart that your pet's life force, energy, and love is never ending. Even if you're a skeptic, what have you got to lose by considering the possibility? It was what you contracted to do. It just might be only a matter of time until your beloved animal companion returns to be with you. Unquote. So let's look at the most common signs that might be found in your reincarnated pet, and might show that they are your reincarnated pet. Number one is feeling an instant connection. Feeling instantly drawn to an animal can be a sign that you've encountered a reincarnated pet. These are usually dogs, cats, and horses. Maybe it's not your reincarnated cat or dog, but there is a strong indication that you've crossed paths with this soul before, maybe even more than once. Don't dismiss this connection. It's a sign that you met before and that you have a shared history. They might have something important to share or teach you. Number two, feeling overwhelming emotions. Meeting our reincarnated pets can be a deeply emotional experience. The encounter may trigger overwhelming feelings of love, excitement, peace, sadness, relief, and a sense of finally being reunited. These emotions are personal, and they signify a soul-level reconnection with your beloved pet. Whether you unexpectedly meet them at home or while traveling, it feels like destiny brought you together. Number 3, recognizing their eyes. Our eyes are said to be the windows to our souls. You've heard that saying. It's believed that our bodies may change from one life to another, but our soul remains intact. So it's no surprise that some people instantly recognize their reincarnated pets while looking into the animal's eyes. Number 4, this is interesting, experiencing telepathic communication. Have you ever connected with someone so well that you knew the thoughts going through their mind before they said them? It's like you just know things without even having exchanged a single word. Now, this can also happen when we come into contact with our deceased and reincarnated pets. Telepathic communication and the connection can be so profound that we might even hear them speak. Words or sentences might flow into your mind, accompanied by feelings of happiness and excitement. Now, no, this doesn't mean that you're losing your marbles. Your animal wants to let you know that it's them, that they've come back, and how excited they are to see you. Number 5, getting flashbacks of shared memories. Encountering your reincarnated pet is a truly one-of-a-kind experience that just defies rational explanation. While you may not physically recognize your pet, you can feel their presence deep within you. During this encounter, you may start to remember all the things that you did together. These memories may appear as random visions, flashbacks, even dreams. It's not uncommon for these memories to confuse our rational minds, and some people may even begin to question the experience. Number 6, feeling a sudden urge to embrace or touch them. When you found your reincarnated pet, you might feel an inexplicable pull towards them, even when there's no apparent reason to feel that way. It's like you're reuniting with your deceased pet, but they are in a different body. Number 7, sensing an electrical current throughout your body. Reuniting with your reincarnated pet and touching them may evoke an electric sensation that flows through your body. This physical contact can trigger memories and sensations, such as hearing their name, feeling their presence, and even catching their scent. Now, these experiences can be intense, and they're a sign that the pet has a soul mission to support you or help you spiritually grow. Now, this feeling can be felt multiple times, and most people sense it the first time they physically touch the animal. Number 8, experiencing deja vu when you're around them. Have you ever experienced deja vu? You've heard the expression. It's a really weird feeling when you think you've already gone through the exact same thing or same situation before. Sometimes you might experience this with an animal that is reincarnated. We remember, quote unquote, interacting with them despite the change in their physical appearance. Some people experience deja vu when they meet their reincarnated animal for the first time. Others may get this feeling during familiar situations or experiences shared with their deceased animal. Number 9, finding unique markings on their body. Another sign that your animal has reincarnated is through their unique physical experience. When our beloved pets come back, they can choose the body they wish to reincarnate into, including the color and their markings. You may notice that your reincarnated pet has a marking that reminds you of their past life. Could be a birthmark in the same place as a past injury or a scar. Number 10, exhibiting familiar behavior. One way to recognize the reincarnated soul of a deceased animal is by observing the new animal's behavior and personality. For example, you might notice that your new dog or cat exhibits the same body language as your previous dog who has passed away, or they may show similar fears and anxieties. Alternatively, your new cat might exhibit similar behaviors to those of your deceased cat, such as scratching their back on a particular pole or sleeping in a specific location that your previous cat preferred. Also, personality traits that were unique to the deceased animal, such as curiosity, stubbornness, mischievousness, boldness, may carry over into the new animal. So there you have it. 10 signs that you've found your reincarnated pet, or they've found you. Well, that just about wraps things up for this episode of the Spiritual Hitchhiker's Practical Guide to the Afterlife and Beyond. And a few things before we close. As many of you know, I recently created an online, on-demand, self-paced certification training program in past life regression and therapy. So I invite those of you who are interested in pursuing a full or part-time practice in this field to check it out on my website, which is DrKaloski.com. Easy to remember. If it's something you think you might be interested in pursuing, then contact me and we can talk about it. By the way, because this is a brand spanking new program, I'm offering a special introductory price for a very limited time. Now, in the same vein, I'm in the middle of creating a board certification training in clinical hypnotherapy, which will also be online, on demand, and self-paced, just like the other one. Hopefully, it'll be ready by the beginning of March. And just as I did with our past life regression program, I'm going to be looking for beta testers for that program, which means that I'll need people willing to take the course and give me feedback to help work out the inevitable bugs. Now, as with the past life training, it'll contain everything that will be in the final alpha version, along with board certification. And I'm going to offer that for an insanely low price to just a select number of people. So if you'd like your name put on a list to be notified when we're ready to rock and roll, please let me know either here in the comment section or by direct messaging me on Facebook Messenger or emailing me at drkaloski@gmail.com. And please be sure to leave an email address so I can reach you when it's ready. And last, February being the slowest month of the year, as I've done every February for the past 40 years or so, I'm extending a 50% discount on my one-on-one private past life regressions, which I do online via Facebook Messenger or Zoom or even over the phone. So you can also email me or DM me for further details or make an appointment for a consultation. On to our next show, which will be on Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the topic will be the stages of soul evolution. All souls are on a mission to evolve, grow, and develop through their own experiences, efforts, choices. To evolve as a soul is to become increasingly self-aware and self-capable as a unique expression of spirit. According to spiritual thinkers, we are all going through different stages of evolution as we reincarnate and live out our various lives. The belief is that we pass through 5 stages as we reincarnate on Earth. By having a deeper understanding of the particular stage we're in, we can focus more on what we're meant to do here. In other words, our life purpose. And also gain a deeper understanding of what might drive some of our actions, our beliefs, our paradigms, our very personality itself. If you ever wondered what rung you or even someone close to you are on the ladder of soul evolution, find out by joining me right here on the Spiritual Hitchhiker's Practical Guide to the Afterlife and Beyond. What promises to be an eye-opening, informative, and revealing experience. That's Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here in the Reincarnation, Past Lives, and the Afterlife group. And tell your friends about us. Remember, they'll have to be a member to tune in. So, until Wednesday the 19th As always, this is Dr. Bruce wishing you happy hitchhiking and happy trails. See you in a few.